Yeah, so about 2 months ago, you stopped by with a mutual friend, and when that was the first time we met, and you had quite an experience here.
Yes, to be
Care
sure.
share any words about that?
I would say the experience was as soon as I walked into your domicile, your place of residence, uh, I just felt undulating waves of energy hitting me, which I've always been perceptive to, but never before had I felt like such a denseness, such a tangibility to the energy around. You know what I mean? I could feel it. It was impossible to deny. You know what I mean? I could have blamed it on something, but it was impossible too. You know, I was getting high from like the area, knowing I wasn't on anything. You know, and I was like, why do I feel the way I feel like when I'm hallucinating? You know, and the stones. Anthony had the stones around his neck. You had the stones. I don't know if the first time, if I recall correctly, I don't think I wore anything because the energy was, to me, overpowering. It made me kind of feel my own lower vibrations. You know what I mean? I could feel like how low my vibes were all the time in comparison to this high energy that I just had never really been around. You know what I mean? Or at least hadn't been able to experience, you know? But it stuck with me. And I went, the next time Anthony went over to your place, uh, I tagged along again. And sure enough, I felt again the like almost like opacity of like the energy. You know what I mean? It was thick, and I like that. You know what I mean? And, like even though if it made me realize how heavy I always kind of felt, uh, I wanted to have more of it around because I did feel like kind of intuitively that it was grounding me or elevating my vibrations or something. You know what I mean? And I did opt to wear, at least the second time for sure, I wore this stuff around my neck. And I felt it even more. You know what I mean? And I felt different things depending on like what was around my neck. And I was a little, I don't want to say, I wasn't scared. I wasn't like worried. It was like, it was alarming to me. You know what I mean? It was alarming to me like that, I felt like I had made breakthroughs. I always wanted to feel like these things and like auras, for instance. I always wanted to see auras and everything. And then after being around an energy level this high, after having these stones and maybe elevating my vibrations a little, I sort of just was able to see auras. You know what I mean? Maybe around the third time I came over, right? And I just realized it. I just realized it right off the rip, and I never really lost that. Although I will say, when there have been longer intervals from me being around an energy level that high, around the vibration of the stones, whatever, I can feel myself lowering again in vibration and not being able to perceive what I could perceive um, when I would be more regularly in like the presence of, let's say, you or Anthony wearing the things or someone else, Enrique or something like that. You know what I mean? It's weird, very tangible though, and you know, I'm the type of person who would not suffer like I would try to find a lot of things, explain it away if I could, and I can't. I just can't explain it away. You know what I mean? I know a fact on the ground, and it's an objective fact that I felt these vibrations. You know, and it was exhilarating in a way. I would say it was kind of exhilarating, although for me personally, it was a bit much for me. It could be a bit much at first. Um, and there'd be residual after effects. Yesterday I was around you for hours. Hours. You would say probably 8 hours. More probably more than 8 hours. And we were doing work, doing this and that. And there were times where it's just like I had to like take a break. I had to take the necklace off. I had to take the stones off because I was feeling like just like almost like in a K hole of so much energy coming out at once that I just wasn't ready for. And today I still feel like an afterglow of effects, an afterglow of sorts from that, you know? And it's weird. It's very weird to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I've gone to visit you, when I've come to your place, um, I just feel like you are a channel, a receiver, an antenna of sorts that all of this energy is coming down from and then filtering out. You know what I mean? And it's very palpable. And I've watched like TikTok videos of yours and kind of felt that. But being in your presence, and I'm not just saying this to stroke your ego. I think you just know how to uh, absorb the energy and put it back out, and that's great. You know what I mean? It's the energy that's doing all the stuff, right? But I can feel it, and I'm happy to be able to feel it, and I love that I can feel it, you know, and it feels good. But it's scary the same way it kind of should be scary. The way astral projecting and stuff like that is thought to be scary, right? Um, it can be daunting, but it's very much there. It's very much there, and that's impossible to deny. And it's weird. It's very weird. I feel like you're also enthralled by it, but you're probably more used to it. To me, it's so new that I mean, I want to know more about it, but it's also just it's a lot. It's a lot, you know. But it's very much there. I can feel it. And usually I'm not so perceptive, and I'm more perceptive. I feel like now, I'm more perceptive, and I pick up more each time, and I'm able to handle more each time. But it's still like the first few times getting that level of energy, it's intense. It's a ride. It's definitely a ride. You know.
And yesterday in particular, there was the specific acknowledgement that not only just being in my house, you feel intense vibrations,
Yeah.
but when you put a necklace on of high quality gemstones, you felt it amplified even more, which
Yeah.
was really going to that threshold of kind of overwhelming. So not
Yeah.
just wearing high quality gemstones, but also hanging out in my house.
Yeah. Having the gemstone, the gemstones acted as an amplifying sort of thing. I had one necklace on, and then a different one, and having the one on, I could feel it like strengthen right away. uh, Having both of them on at the same time got to be too much, and I would have to take them off. And then I'd put them back on when I had acclimated a little bit more. You know what I mean? But it really was like how water has a higher pressure the deeper you go. You know
Yes,
that.
excellent metaphor.
Yeah. And so you want to go deeper. But you don't also don't want to get the bends either. You don't want to go. You don't want to go all the way to the bottom and then rise all the way back to the top. Like when you just started, I don't think you can. I think your lungs need to be able to take in more. But it's crazy. It's crazy. Now me, I like that sort of thing. So let's sum it up then.
Yes, let's sum it up.
So I would say definitively, my experience was that I went to your place. I definitely felt what I felt. Impossible to convince me otherwise because I felt it as tangibly as I could feel like my hand in my other hand. You know what I mean? I knew what it was. I also felt like uh, I felt a clarity. You know what I mean? I felt a clarity that isn't there that I always associated with being around higher energy. You know what I mean? It was there and I felt it and I could perceive it more each subsequent time. Having seen you yesterday, the most recent time, I felt it most of all, And it's kind of exhilarating and I want to do it again. But it definitely happened multiple times, and I've never been more aware of and reassured that like what I'm feeling, what I believe, what I feel is absolutely concrete. You know what I mean? Even if it's not detectable by a any kind of mechanical tool, you know what I mean, or a scientific measuring device.
Yeah.
It's very crazy.